Hello and welcome to Andersen Sports Live. I'm Parker Siza.
And I'm David Eichel. And we've got a great week of sports to recap for you and a good one to look forward to this week. We've got conference tournaments in basketball, NBA, more spring training, Husker sports, and of course, Selection Sundays this week as well. It was a weekend of upsets, especially in the UFC. Nate Diaz defeated Conor McGregor in a second-round submission. McGregor really controlled the first round of the fight, but then he really took advantage in the second round. And as you can tell by the photos, they were both extremely beat up. Parker, what were your thoughts on it?
You know, I thought, and I'm a big fan of Conor McGregor, I thought after his defeat, after his loss to Nate Diaz, the way he handled himself post-match, afterwards, talking with the media, very humble, and obviously Nate Diaz handled himself very well as well. He was really bloody after the match. We don't have a picture of that, but I thought it was a great match.
Yeah, and it's amazing because McGregor went up 2 weight classes just to take on Diaz, and Diaz really, I think, asserted himself as becoming one of the best fighters in UFC right now. Another big defeat was Miesha Tate defeated Holly Holm in a second round. And I'll tell you, I really thought Holm was going to win this fight. She controlled a lot of it, but then Tate just came out and just really took it to her. And it's kind of amazing to see that, just the change in power. Ronda Rousey also said she wants to return to the cage after that fight.
That's true. That would be a good match, Miesha Tate and Ronda Rousey. On February 7th, the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning at quarterback hoisted the Super Bowl trophy. 1 month later, Manning officially announced his retirement from the National Football League. The announcement came yesterday morning from ESPN's Chris Mortensen. Manning finished his career with 71,940 passing yards and 539 touchdowns. Both of those are all-time NFL records, and he's the only quarterback in NFL history to win a Super Bowl with 2 different teams. He'll retire with 2 Super Bowls, as many as his younger brother Eli. Peyton held a press conference earlier today talking about...
When I look back on my NFL career, I'll know without a doubt that I gave everything I had to help my teams walk away with a win. There were other players who were more talented, but there was no one who could out-prepare me. And because of that, I have no regrets.
Obviously a disappointed Peyton Manning there. And yeah. Roundtable. Oh, yes. With more on that, let's send it to our roundtable experts, Josh Kemp, and the experts up there.
Welcome everybody to our roundtable. Joining me today, we have Stephen Huff and Michael Grandinetti. I'm Josh Kemp. To get started, first of all, Peyton Manning is obviously one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but where does he rank on the list of all-time greats? Stephen, let's start with you.
Honestly, I think he is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Greatest of all time?
By far.
Wow, number one, huh?
He said in his press conference today, for 2 decades, no one out-prepared him. And not one game he was ever out-prepared, and that's remarkable. But on top of that, he has most touchdown passes in a season, in a career, most wins as a quarterback in his career, and most games with a perfect quarterback passing rating. And so, with that resume, it's hard to top that. I mean, he's done it with 4 neck surgeries as well, still able to get 2 Super Bowl wins. I think that's remarkable.
It really is remarkable. The resume is tough to argue with. Now, if I were to pick my favorite quarterback of all time, there's no question I have to go with Peyton Manning.
He's at the top.
But the question is, who is the greatest quarterback of all time? And I got to go with Tom Brady.
The rival.
The rival. Even though Peyton does have a few wins against him in the postseason, Tom Brady's 22-9 career record in the postseason, and with those 4 championship rings, it's really tough for me to argue. I mean, he's 2 Eli Manning miracles away from having 6 Super Bowl titles, and to me, that's the reason they play the game. So I got to go with Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's not a bad pick, but I mean, in the postseason, Manning is 3-2 against him, and Manning has the most MVPs in NFL history. So, I mean, stacked up against other quarterbacks, he has better numbers than all of them.
He is, and he's right there. Peyton's totally changed the game, the way quarterbacks prepare, the way the game's kind of an aerial assault. Mm-hmm. Now, that was totally got his fingerprints all over it. But when it comes down to championships, I do got to go with Mr. Brady.
Got to take the one with the rings.
Yep.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Either way, we'll probably be having the same exact discussion in the next 5 years about Tom Brady's retirement. But that's all that we have right now. Let's send it back to David in the studio.
And welcome back. One of the biggest upsets in NBA history happened yesterday as the Warriors went at the Lakers to take them on. We'll start right here. Jordan Clarkson misses the layup. Brandon Bass with a nice tip out to Swaggy P. Back to Clarkson. You already know, splash, cash, drainage, money. Look at this. Clarkson on Andersen Varejao. Ooh, pretty behind the back. Step back, splash. All right, and we're moving on. Clarkson's getting fired up. Larry Nance with a pump fake, going Clyde the Glide Drexler on him. D'Angelo Russell is dancing like a chicken on the sidelines. He is pumped up. He's ready to go. But Steph Curry was the big story. 6 of 20 for the game. Really a big struggle. Another turnover there. He's obviously disappointed as he does not get back on defense. Steph Curry for another 3. Nope. But Barbosa there with the putback as the third quarter expires. But the Lakers are too much to overcome as Swaggy P misses another 3. Julius Randle, though, slamming it back home. The fans are loving it. Kobe Bryant giving Steve Kerr some love and showing an up-and-coming star in the NBA, and Steph Curry some love also. But Klay Thompson and Steph Curry just could not get it going. 1 of 18 from 3. The team as a whole is 4 of 30 from 3. 5 turnovers, and it just was not their night.
LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the Boston Celtics. Here's LeBron early in the first quarter, controlling it on the far side, drives in authoritative dunk. They'll take another look at that. Later on in the second quarter, Isaiah Thomas, Celtics, nice little play here, little move, and a nice little lay-in off the glass. Early fourth quarter we go to now with Matthew Dellavedova right here taking it away from Boston. He sends it to, we got Tristan Thompson right there. Nice little flip pass, and Tristan Thompson finishes it up. And then later fourth, Cavs trying to seal the deal. It's LeBron up top, dribbling around on Jay Crowder of Boston. Flips it, loses it right there. Well, with 3 seconds on the shot clock, drives in the lane, and the foul. LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers win 120-103.
Lovie Smith, a former head coach of the Chicago Bears and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is coming to coach in the Big Ten West. The Illinois Fighting Illini announced today Smith will coach the team after Illinois fired Bill Cubit Saturday. Smith spent the last 20 years in the NFL. His previous college coaching job was at Ohio State as the defensive backs coach in 1995.
After a drop in the college football playoff ratings, playoff committee chairman Bill Hancock announced changes in the schedule. Both games will still be played on New Year's Eve. The Fiesta Bowl and the Peach Bowl, which will host the 2 semifinal games, will begin at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern on December 31st. We're going to take a short break. After that, we'll talk college basketball with the conference tournaments this week. Stick with us.
90.3 KRNU is the University of Nebraska's own radio station located in the School of Journalism and Mass Communications. Since 1970, KRNU has been providing Lincoln with new indie music, local artist promotions, and the long support of local businesses. This year, KRNU is celebrating its 45th anniversary and plans to be around for at least another 45. Tune your FM dial to 90.3 anytime, or hear us live online streaming at krnu.unl.edu.
I always knew I was going to study fashion design in college, and I kind of got addicted to the energy.
Just to be able to see all the hard work the students have put into it and how talented they are.
The most innovative designers are students, and I get really excited knowing that kids are still into it. There's just no other industry like it.
I'm Prince Mukamara, and I'm urging you to go to collegeboundnebraska.com to see if you qualify.
And welcome back from the break. Let's take a look at some college basketball highlights, starting with North Carolina visiting Duke this week.
That's right, Duke and North Carolina, the Tobacco Road rivalry. It was certainly a great one this week. Let's take a look at that highlight. Early on, there's the Camden Crazies. They're excited. They're ready. See if Duke can pull 2 in a row against Carolina this season. There's Bryce Johnson. Early on the first half, Theo Penson of Carolina alley-oops it there. Bryce Johnson, that's a beautiful play, David. Later on, first half, Grayson Allen fires for 3. He's got it. That brings Duke's deficit to 6. Duke was down at the half. They come back later, second half. Allen again for 3. Duke trying to climb its way back into it. Here's Plumlee on the steal. Kicks it to Kennard. Kennard all the way to Allen for the jam. Duke down 4. Duke still trying to climb back into it. They're down 5. Kennard from the corner, he's got it. 9 seconds left, but is it enough time? They're going to foul Marcus Page here with 1.5 seconds left, and they can't do anything. He makes both free throws. Duke splits the season series with Carolina 1-1.
And next up, we're going to look at Iowa State, Kansas. Perry Ellis being armed. It feels like he's been there since 1980 and played alongside Wilt Chamberlain. All right, and look at this. Monte Morris from 3 at the half. Splash, cash money. He's pumped up. Team's fired up. Monte Morris again driving. Nice pass there. And Burton with the finish and the foul. They're just getting excited. They take the lead. Jameel McKay is loving it on the sidelines. George's Niang just off. Devontae Graham, they're pushing it. And Devontae Graham with the splash, and that puts Kansas up 1. He is excited. We'll see if they can pull this out. Later on, Perry Ellis, nice. He wants to join the circus with that shot. Unreal. Nice little baby hook shot. Fans are loving it. Perry Ellis with 20 points there. And Kansas pulls away and wins by 7. Perry Ellis, obviously emotional. The game of the week, though, Northern Iowa versus Evansville. Evansville came back, but can Northern Iowa finish? Look at that, the miss there. Evansville gets a nice little reverse putback. We'll see if Northern Iowa can draw something up. Wes Washpun with the spin cycle, the step back. Is it in? It's good. Northern Iowa wins the Missouri Valley Conference tournament, and they will be heading to the NCAA tournament. And obviously they're extremely fired up from that.
That's true.
March
is finally here. Other teams that clinch this weekend include Florida Gulf Coast and Yale. With more conference tournaments going on this week, we go back to Josh Kemp and our roundtable experts. Josh?
Thank you for joining us again with Stephen Huff and Michael Grandinetti and myself. Excuse me. March Madness is almost in full swing with conference tournaments coming up in Selection Sunday, less than a week away. It's been a pretty up and down, crazy season in college basketball. Who are your teams that are on the bubble that may or may not make it to the tournament?
On my teams on the bubble, I got St. Bonaventure. I got them coming in.
Wow,
This is my favorite time of year.
Bonnies.
Anything can happen. And I got Bonaventure coming in. They have a favorable Atlantic 10 conference schedule. And they're an efficient team. They score a lot. They have a number 1 3-point percentage in the conference. They can spread you out and hit it from anywhere. And they average 77.5 points per game. So they can score with the best of them as well. So, I got them going in. On the outside looking in, I got LSU. Even with Ben Simmons.
No Ben Simmons making the tourney?
Not this year. The reason why is Johnny Jones, the coach. Each year he holds them back. You saw it last year with Martins and Mickey. They weren't able to make a tournament run. it's unfortunate even because the SEC is so open. But with that coaching holding them back, Ben Simmons is going to have to sit out a couple months till the draft.
Well, absolutely. I think people might be a little surprised to hear that the best player of the year, one of the best players in the country, aren't going to make the tourney. But I'm going to kind of go to another surprise team, a team that is constantly in the NCAA tournament every single year, and I'm going with Gonzaga.
The Zags.
The Zags have been in the tournament every year since 2000, and they're currently the number 2 seed in the West Coast Conference, but they need to actually win the tournament to get in. Pretty much unfamiliar territory for Mark Few and the gang. Still got a really talented team. They could end up getting all the way, winning the conference tournament, and getting back into the big dance, but I'm actually picking against the Zags this year.
All right.
And then my team that I am picking to get to the tournament, another team that actually has to win their conference tournament to get all the way into the big dance, and I'm going with the Golden Grizzlies of Oakland University from Rochester, Michigan. You heard it first. If you guys haven't heard this name yet, Kay Felder. He's the Horizon Conference leader in points and assists. I think this guy's a future lottery pick, kind of be one of those Damian Lillard kind of guys to make his name big time in the NBA. And I'm picking the Golden Grizzlies, and I'm cheering for Kay Felder going down the stretch.
I got to ask, have you heard of Oakland before this week or no?
Yeah, I've heard him here and there, but the guy, Felder, he's on ESPN SportsCenter, the highlights almost every day now because he's just putting up incredible numbers, and that's who I'm cheering for.
Yeah, certainly some interesting teams you guys have picked. But moving on, let's move on to the Wooden Award. There's been a lot of good play from college basketball players. Who is at the top of the list for your Wooden Award or Player of the Year candidates?
Absolutely. I just went from one kind of shocking pick, but I'm going to kind of go the opposite here. I'm going to go with the obvious choice, Buddy Hield from the University of Oklahoma.
Okay.
He's kind of been on the headlines all season and hitting big shots. He's got a really versatile game. He can take the ball inside and he can hit the big shot. He likes the ball in his hands when the game's close and kind of on the line, and he's been able to carry Oklahoma to a great season already. So I'm going with one of those picks that it's no surprise here, but I'm going with the man, Buddy Hield from the University of Oklahoma.
I'm going to go with the guy that's hot right now. And you saw him start the year really good, get injured, and now he's hot again. That's Denzel Valentine of Michigan State. I mean, since the assist was an official record, he's the only player ever to average 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists a game. That's phenomenal. And honestly, I think it's healthy that he's getting hot at the right time. They won 9 out of their last 10. And, you know, you saw it in National League for Baseball, who won the Cy Young, Jake Arrieta. He didn't have as good a numbers as Kershaw, but he got hot at the right time and he won it. So I think Valentine, similar theme here. I think Valentine's going to win it.
Hey, Valentine's definitely got his team rolling. As you mentioned, playing his best basketball down the stretch. He's really got Sparty looking nice going into the big tournament, and they are kind of on line for maybe a potential 1 seed. But if this was the best, if this was the most talented player in the year, I think I'd have to go with Valentine. But the most outstanding player of the year, I do got to go with Buddy Hield.
Okay, I mean, Buddy Hield scores with the best of them, so you can't argue with that.
Yep, those two are definitely at the top of the list of most people, most voters and whatnot. But let's move on to a more serious subject. Concussions have become a bigger deal in the NFL, especially in recent years. They just made a movie last year with Will Smith about concussions. The Ivy League just last week released a statement saying that they're ending all contact in practices for football. And what do you guys think about that? Do you think there's going to be a change for football starting from this, Michael?
Well, Steve, you know, I know about you, but my first initial reaction is kind of shocked. It's like, how can you practice football without tackling?
Right, that's what I was thinking.
In practice. But, you know, to me, this is just kind of where the game is headed. This is kind of, I think it's going to trickle down to other conferences and to even maybe the lower levels into the prep football and even the Pop Warner as well.
Be contagious, and we'll see it throughout all of football.
Absolutely, especially if they have success in limiting the number of head injuries. And we'll see the Ivy League is kind of too many smart men in that league.
Yeah,
they got to protect those brains a little bit.
You know, and I think the move, it's smart, and I think you are going to see it throughout. But I don't know if it's the best move for football. It might ruin it later on. Obviously, concussions, huge deal. I'm not going to argue that we should tackle 4 concussions, obviously. But I think it might hurt the players later in the game. They might not be physically ready, and they might get more injuries during the game. Also, with that lack of physicality, it might lead to even like sloppier and worse tackling. We saw it here in Nebraska. I mean, Nate Gary got ejected for what we thought was good form, and he got ejected for what they called targeting. And you look at those plays, and it really wasn't targeting. So the tackling form might even get worse and lead to more questionable calls.
Absolutely. You never know how this is going to translate into the game itself. I do think they're going to be preaching technique, and that technique will kind of lend its way into the game itself. But who knows? Hopefully these concussion injuries start dying down somehow.
Certainly safety of the players is a very big issue, and it's very important for the NFL and the NCAA. But that's all that we have time for here at our roundtable. Let's send it back to you, David, in studio.
Thanks, guys. We're going to send it with Nick Hermson, who has Sports on the Cob this week.
Okay. What are we doing after this?
With the NCAA tournament coming up, we set out today to see if our viewers could separate the fake schools from the real ones. Can you tell which one of these school names is fake?
No, but I can guess.
Ooh, actually I love all these schools, and I've never heard of the wondrous University of Longwood.
I'm sorry, that is a school.
I don't know.
Wow, our first winner. Delma State is not a real school. Congratulations.
Really?
Yeah, you're looking at Delman. You're looking at Delman State as your fake school.
If you don't want to, I think you look great for TV. Hey, come on, you looked at me. Now you gotta be on camera.
Okay, can you tell me which college is not real?
My cousin goes to Colgate. I know that's real.
That's a toothpaste.
Stetson's a hat company. So.
That's true. They make chaps too. What? Oh, the panel says Stetson's a real college.
Epson Brookings is fake.
I was going to say that. Thanks.
Here's your drink.
Check the mic 1, 2. This is how Pharrell holds his microphone. Holds it like this because he's Pharrell. Actually, Epson Brookings was the right answer. Epson Brookings is not real.
I believe it.
Thanks for watching this week's Sports on the Cob. I think I'm going to go enroll in Panama City Beach University.
Some of those schools, one of them's named after a toothpaste, so you know, I would have never been able to get that. So that's it for Sports on the Cob this week. Let's take a quick break, and we'll have golf highlights and more when we come back to Andersen Sports Live.
Donations from our supporters through Campaign for Nebraska enrich the classroom experience, advance research, fuel innovation and economic development, and enhance the campus environment. Campaign for Nebraska and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln thank our donors for gifts that write a story of success for the future.
Well, the speech and debate team is 143 years old. We're the oldest student activity on campus, and we're one of the best.
We work really hard.
And we're the best Big Ten team in the nation.
We've won the Big Ten Tournament Championship 3 years in a row.
And for the past 8 years, we have placed in the top 10 nationally.
We have the best students, the hardest working, the most dedicated. We have the best students here at Nebraska.
Welcome back to Andersen Sports Live. Let's go. Let's look at some highlights from the WGC Cadillac Championship at Trump National Doral. Hey, there's the big Donald right there arriving at his golf course, and there's the big man himself, Donald, meeting some of his supporters. Let's go out to the course. McIlroy, early on, he was a third-round leader. He misses that putt for par. It was not a good day for him. He would end up finishing in the top 5. Adam Scott, he's on a roll. His second at the par 4 14th, a beauty. Look at that, rolling right next to the hole. He would birdie that to move up the leaderboard. And then Bubba trying to chase Adam Scott. This is for birdie on 18. He would miss that, of course. And so Adam Scott with a one-shot lead on the final hole. Here's his approach on 18, staring it down. I don't think he likes it because this goes right next to the water. My goodness. Standing there right on the slope right there, he would, a little nervous there, he would chip out to right here, and this is for the win. Adam Scott drains it. This is his second straight win on the PGA Tour.
It's looking really good for him. You know who also had a heck of a game was Ronaldo. He had 4 goals in his last game, and now we're back and looking at Trump. I wonder if Trump even show up to that game, because I don't know, man. That looked like a golf course, not a soccer field. But it's crazy. Ronaldo did end up having a great game. 4 goals. I don't know how much better you can really do than that.
That's true.
Look at this. Number 1, he is pumped up. He knows he's the best.
That's right. And Ronaldo early now, after halftime, 57th minute, the free kick, left corner beauty.
That's pretty. Right in the corner, too. Ronaldo is just loving it. His team is rolling. Nice, pretty move there. Nice little pass. Another one. That's good teamwork right there.
It is very good.
Just a beauty right there. Look at that. He knows. His kids are going to be as good as him, man, I swear. Teammates are just pumped up, pointing to the crowd. Beautiful game.
There is no better player in the world right now than Cristiano Ronaldo, and he showed it yesterday as Real Madrid wins in a rout.
Absolutely.
There's his family celebrating right there as well.
Man.
The Washington Redskins announced the release of Robert Griffin III today, who played for the team since his rookie season in 2012. He led the Redskins to the playoff that year, earning Offensive Rookie of the Year as well. Griffin threw 40 touchdowns and 23 interceptions with the Washington Redskins.
Running back Arian Foster's great career with the Houston Texans came to an end on Thursday. Foster ran for 163 yards and 1 touchdown in 4 games last season. Foster is the Texans' franchise career rushing leader. His release is due to the fact he has missed 23 games because of various injuries the past 3 seasons. Now for a special edition of our weekly player highlight, we take a look back at Peyton Manning's historic career, because it was quite a career.
Actually, we do not have that. Sorry about that. We are going. We were going to talk about Peyton Manning. It was just a highlight of his illustrious career. Obviously, Peyton,
one of the best of all time.
Absolutely, one of the best of all time. Favorite Peyton Manning moment?
I gotta go with his first Super Bowl. I was a big Colts fan. Dallas Clark, Marvin Harrison, just the offense they had was just dynamic, and it's amazing just what he could do with that.
It was, and I mean, I'm a Denver Broncos fan, and when he came to the Denver Broncos in 2000, I think it was 2012, obviously he had a really good year, and then his second year when he broke all those records as that old guy, Peyton is truly the greatest.
It's awesome to see him come back too from the neck surgeries and the Colts releasing him. Some thought he would be done, but he did come back and he had one of the best seasons of all time. So it is incredible.
Yes.
Now we're going to take a look at the upcoming games this week. So we'll see what's up.
Thanks, guys. I'm Matt Pierce, and this is the upcoming games report. We got a big week of sports ahead of us, so let's get right into it. Now we'll start off local, where the University of Nebraska men's basketball team is in the Big Ten tournament as the 11 seed, and they'll face 14th seeded Rutgers on Wednesday. The winner will play Wisconsin. Now the Huskers are led by Andrew White and Siobhan Shields, who both average 16 points per game. And the Huskers are going to have to win multiple games in this tournament to have a shot at any postseason tournament at all. Now the 6 main conferences in college basketball all have their conference tournaments this week. The ACC in Washington, D.C., the Big East in New York City, the Big Ten in Indianapolis, the Big 12 in Kansas City, the Pac-12 in Las Vegas, and the SEC in Nashville. Now from college basketball to the pros, we got the Atlanta Hawks against the Toronto Raptors Thursday, and that game features the 2nd and the 5th best teams in the East right now. Now the big game of the week is the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Los Angeles Lakers on Thursday night. That was the last time that Kobe Bryant will play LeBron James in his illustrious career. Then to wrap up the week, we got the 2nd and the 3rd best teams in the West between the Oklahoma City Thunder travel to San Antonio to face the Spurs. In other sports, in soccer, it's the round of 16 in the Champions League. We got Roma at Real Madrid on Tuesday, and Paris Saint-Germain travels to London to take on Chelsea on Wednesday. In golf, it's the Valspar Championship in Palm Harbor, Florida, and the defending champion for this is, unsurprisingly, Jordan Spieth. Now, that's all we got for you right now. As you can see, it's a big week in sports ahead of us. For Andersen Sports Live, I'm Matt Pierce. We'll be back after this quick break.
Yes, we're going to send it to break. Thanks, Matt. Stick with us here at Andersen Sports Live.
Donations from our supporters through Campaign for Nebraska enrich the classroom experience, advance research, fuel innovation and economic development, and enhance the campus environment. Campaign for Nebraska and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln thank our donors for gifts that write a story of success for the future.
And we are back. We are now bringing back our segment called the Live 5, and strap your seatbelts on because it is about to be crazy. Now let's take a look. We're going to start off with number 5. Look at Broberg. Having not really the best day, 11 over. But man, look at that, a pin shot. It looked like he just chipped it. Bad hit too, and just
Shankaroonie.
Can't believe it. Look at him. He's pumped up though. He's just happy he's getting out of that. Now maybe single digits over instead of double.
At number 4, take a look here. It is Louisiana Tech and Marshall, Louisiana Tech at the buzzer.
Whew.
Buckets.
Dude, straight. Steph Curry getting buckets. Oh my goodness, team is
Louisiana
thrilled
Tech
about
gets the win.
Number 3, we are going to take it. Iowa State, Oklahoma State. Abdul Nader with the poster. Getting my poster. Woo. My goodness, he is pumped up, raising the roof in this. Hilton Coliseum is just nuts.
At number 2, we go to a couple high school basketball plays. This isn't Kentucky, okay? Missed free throw, and this guy just launches it from Tennessee. My goodness.
Man. Holy moly, you shot that from New York. Oh my goodness. Number 1, we are going to stick with high school basketball. Look at this. He makes the free throw. Team's upset. Nobody's playing defense. They throw it in. The lob. Oh my goodness, another full court. That sends it to a 4th overtime. They would go on to win the state championship with that as their 3rd buzzer beater of that game. Absolutely unbelievable.
And that's all we got for Andersen Sports Live this weekend. I'm Parker Siza.
And I'm David Eichel. Enjoy next week of sports, and we'll see you next Monday, same time.